Number 40's fucked up completely, and forgive me for my language. But this happened last year. It wasn't as bad last year. Now it seems like it's going to be atrocious what's happening now. With school bus tickets. And the only telling, like, bus was literally only telling them today. There's parents I know that only got a phone call today saying, look, the bus is going off the road. We don't have the money to, because it's old and it has to be taken off the road because it's 20 years and the road has been scrapped. So your child won't get the bus ticket, so you have to find a ton of transport. We don't know when we're going to give you the money back. So you paid your money already, or if you're on social welfare, the social welfare pays it. But basically just being left abandoned. So in Cavan Monaghan and Loud, 600. You heard me right, 600. And then 3 counties. That's only 3 counties. That doesn't include Donegal, Sligo, Leitrim. All them counties, Dublin, big places like that. That doesn't include them. And obviously in Cavan Monaghan and Loud, there's places in the back end of nowhere where they do rely on buses. And again, number 40 dug her head into the sand for the last 2 months. And again, she had plenty of time last year, she knew about it. And Bus Aaron again dug their heads into the sand, but Bus Aaron's just a load of bollocks, to be totally honest. When I was dealing with them, they were very ignorant cunts, and forgive me for my language, but they were just very ignorant. They were very ignorant to everybody. And again, no, bit of malice above anything else. Because we paid for the ticket, we didn't get it, and you have every right to go and ask them what's the story here. But again, they were whinging that, and then finally I got a bus ticket, but it was nearly not even worth while getting the bus ticket because it was March before I got it, and the school year was over. I only had 2 months left of school, but at least I got it. But it was such a job to get. I had to go through literally the night every county council, every TD, they have to literally annoy them, and they were literally ignoring TDs, and they were ignoring them. They were ignoring county councils. They wouldn't speak to them on my behalf. They wouldn't speak to me either. They were fed up listening to me because I annoyed the head literally of them. And they only knew how I got it because I went onto the CEO of the bus out and I actually told the head of him. And the same with a few of the TDs, we told the head of him about how dare he treat people like this. But yeah, Councillor Sarah Wiley was talking about the Councillor former Cohirlock of Cavan County Council. And it's shameful. Again, I don't know how many in Cavan are affected, but it seems like reading through the comments here, Northern Sound here, it seems like the majority are in Monaghan, not in North Monaghan or South Monaghan. That's what it seems the majority of these 600 are. So we say probably about 200 maybe in that area in Monaghan. Or maybe 300 even in Monaghan, and the rest are spread out between Cavan and Loud. But again, Norma Foley knew this was coming. Again, this is how incompetent this bollocks is. Because it happened last year. It was expected, that we wouldn't have everything in place and everything. That's understandable. There was loads of people without a bus ticket. But before the end of the year, there was only 26 without a bus ticket in Cavan. I think it was only 17 without a bus ticket in Monaghan. The majority of them got it before the end of the year, but the harm was done before then. But now, buses been taken off the road and things like that because they're old and they need to be taken off and they're not going to be replaced. Bus hours not going to replace them. Same with bus drivers, not going to replace bus drivers that are sick or retiring or whatever. And this is the thing, and it has to be up to the private man to take over. Take for example the majority of school buses when I was growing up were school buses, bus hour buses. There wasn't one private bus. Now floods have huge amount of buses going to Loretto College, Bethany College, St. Pat's, St. Brickens. Like the amount of floods buses, there's more floods buses than there's bus hour buses going to the school. I think there's only about 3 or 4 literally left going to the school I used to go to. But again, as Sarah White has described as a mess. Like again, I don't know how they didn't foresee this. I don't know how they didn't look. But again, Norma Foley, she wouldn't see fucking anything. Let's be honest, she's just, I don't know what's wrong with her. But again, it's understandable last year maybe they didn't see it, right? And they should have fixed it. Norma Foley could have instantly fixed it if she wanted to in the morning. Because I'm sure to God they have buses lying somewhere in some yard they can use and they can redo them and have them up in the road in a week. Again, I'm sure to God they have some spare buses somewhere in the state, but that belongs to the Department of Transport. Or they could take over buses from private buses and can take a contract, they can give them a few bob and use the buses for the school ones, but for bus airing, and basically hire them from other crowds or whatever. You get what I'm saying? But again, nothing was done. No before they go ahead into the sand, and nothing was done about it. People have forgotten about it, and nothing was done. And basically, as one of the TDs said, when she asked number 40 this, and Matt Carty asked number 40 this in Dáil Éireann, basically dug her head into the sand and said nothing, and just was like, fuck you all, I don't care. And that's basically it, and that's all was said, and all these children were abandoned, and some of these parents haven't even got the money from last year. So it's utter mess, and fair play to Sarah Wiley. Again, there's very little county councillors I hear speaking out and saying it as it is and not holding back. Because Norma Foley, I don't know how she is minister. I really don't know how, because especially this is unacceptable. 600. This is only in 3 counties, and that doesn't even clear. How many is it? 4,000, maybe 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. How many in the rest of the counties? That's only 600 in 3 counties. That's only 3 counties. How many is in, like, take for example, Meath is a big county. How many is there? Nearly 1,000 in Meath. But yeah, it's just mad. It's just crazy. Like, it's just really just crazy. And this isn't. And again, they're only getting word now. The parents are literally only getting word today, yesterday, and maybe tomorrow, and they're going back this week. The majority of schools. Isn't that great? You think they would at least tell them up beforehand, but again, it's Norma Foley. It's Norma Foley. She oversees the school transport. It's not the Department of Transport. It used to be the Department of Transport, so it would be Winton by Eamon Ryan. But it is Norma Foley. At the end of the day, it's Norma Foley. The school buses are over the Department of Education. Basically, has to ensure children get to school, and that's why the school buses are really in the Department of Education, because it's up to the Department of Education to sort it. It isn't up to the Minister of the Department of Transport, because technically it's school one, so it's basically to do with the school, and it's to do with the Department of Education, not the Department of Transport. Even though it does probably have something to do, small bit to do with it, because obviously they have to find the buses and whatever, but it's designated as the Department of Education. That's what I was told by 3 or 4, by Minister Humphreys, head of Humphreys. That's what she told me. So, and I do incline to believe, because she did show me, it was at one stage over the Department of Transport. But Eamon Ryan's asleep, so we wouldn't bother with him anyway. So, but yeah, I'd let you hear Sarah Wiley for a second. She might explain it better than I did, because I went on a rant there for 10 seconds. But I do fear for the people that were affected by this, because I know myself, I was affected by it. But anyway, leave the link in the description. But it's only a few seconds. It tweets 32 seconds anyway. Hello?
People are only finding out this week, and most students are back today. So that's very short notice for parents and schools who are making preparations to return to schools. Alternative arrangements at this stage, I know Belfast have been, offering...
Yeah, I just stop there for a second. So yeah, as she basically said, that's very short notice. Imagine if you had to go to work, and you were going to Dublin every morning from Cavan, and you have 3 children, and you expect them to get a bus ticket. If you pay for a bus ticket, or you're on social welfare or whatever, you expect to get on the bus. You don't expect bus out, and especially if you pay your fees, you expect to get what you deserve, and what you rightly pay for. If you pay for something, you get it, and that's as simple as that. And you don't pay for nothing, and you expect to get it. And again, if that happened, you have to make a ton of arrangements. Especially now, if you just dropped into it in the middle of the week, and you're like, I have work in the morning, they have school in the morning, what am I going to do? And I have to be there at 8 o'clock. You'd be dropping your children maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and they have to stand around the school until the school opens. Imagine that, like, seriously, just imagine that. And again, it causes them more stress, and again, some of them might not even have a ton of wages. Some people might not have their car, or it might be up in the back end, and they rely on the bus out and bus on the end of the road to bring them. And they might have to go miles and miles and miles away from schools. Again, no consideration from Norma Foley by this. You think she would be out saying, she's doing everything she can. She's using every resource that's available. She's taking buses that are in yards and bus out and they're not being used, and redoing them and have them done by the end of the week. She's going to get as many people, more recruiting drivers like hell. But no, nothing like that. Just silence. Silence, that's all. Anyway, so...
Maybe the second nearest school to students, but that's like ridiculous. A total, change of school because of this.
Yeah,
there is a solution.
Yeah, just stop for that. Yeah, that's true. There's a few people I know that they changed schools because they were going forward to school. So they had to change school. There's some primary school buses that does happen. There's primary school buses here, but they haven't been affected. I think everybody has a bus ticket. As far as I know, nobody's told me yet. But I do know a few people at secondary school level that are affected. So it's just a charade, really just a charade. It's a mess, especially because they knew. I'm sure to God they could see it coming. I could see it coming. Anybody could see it coming, especially last year. What happened last year? Like, it was a total mess. Now this is just a total mess. But anyway, let's continue. Sarah's raising good points here. Yeah.
The minister must question the reason for NEFIT's decision, and she must demand the evidence and the data that backs it up.
Yeah, I really couldn't say it better myself, to be totally honest with you. So yeah, basically it's due reduced capacity too. That's another issue too. But the vast majority of his bus errands just, they have no buses really. Just buses are gone. They're taking out, like, the majority of the buses now. When they would, basically out of service, they're never going to get another one. They try and not get another one because they're privatising the bus and transport networks. And Bus Éireann is obviously bankrupt. They are in financial trouble. And they are struggling to get people and everything like that. So yeah, and obviously if they can get a man, as one bus driver said to me, if they can get a private man, that they do it for less, as they do private business do for less, but they make more for killing because there's more people going on the buses because the buses are bigger, and they're more spacious and more people want to go on them or whatever. They make more money because it's less, and they make more money because they do more ones, and etc etc etc. So yeah, let me know what you take. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to read more. So yeah, take your fortune and subscribe for more and bye.